Thank you very much for the introduction. First of all, before I go, I would just like to state that in the past 30 minutes, I've actually been re-inspired by the message I was trying to bring here, because it's amazing that I could see this synchronization of the messages. You would think we planned it. It's amazing because even to the dressing, you see, we almost dressed alike. It was almost like we planned this, but this is not the case, trust me. So the one thing I could see here that is common among all of us, or what we're trying to say, is that there is actually a way of effectively branding sustainability. We can do something about that. But there is another aspect, just like Ray pointed out, like Google, where you see it is done wrongly. That's, if we come together, we can possibly do something about. And that's the aspect I'm trying to look at, effective branding and maybe not so effective branding from my own side of the world. So what I'm trying to say is future of the sustainable energy brand. Sustainable energy brand is a kind of a new concept. You know, sustainability we know, or sustainable energy we know, but and branding we do know. At least everybody in this room knows what we're talking about. We talk about branding. But when you put sustainable energy branding, I'm sorry, even Google might not be able to help you. I tried this, and it directed me to the energy branding conference in Reykjavik. So it's up to us. We have to do that. So what I'm going to do is we want to look at the future, and a wise man once told me, if you want to look at the future, go to the past, see what's happening there, and maybe you can, you know, have some hope for the future. For instance, you know, you go to a doctor with an illness, for instance, and the doctor doesn't have your medical records. If it's a really bad illness, I'm sorry, man, you might not even be able to assure the next 2 hours, talk less of your future. So what I'm trying to do is, you know, go back and, you know, see what people have done right with branding and what people have done wrong, and point out from a fundamental perspective how we can move forward. I'm not going to go too far back because I see there's a very young crowd. So 1980. This is Dubai in 1980. Anyone shocked? No, okay. And these camels are real camels. They're not like camels branded by Ferrari or Lamborghini. These are real camels. They eat normal grass. This was Dubai in 1980s. It's not what we think about Dubai now. Am I right? Okay, how about this? 1991. This is the major road in Dubai. This is, anybody who has gone there would know what I'm talking about. It is the longest road in Dubai. It is the major road. This is the downtown Dubai. Anybody recognize this? Okay. Now, before we go on and we see how Dubai, you know, how they have come on to, you know, with this brand of luxury, because I believe this is the brand they portray and what we come to know about Dubai. What happened? This was the ingredients. They came, I would say the hand of God gave them oil and was like, go to the world and stun. And they did stun. Dubai in 2011, a totally different brand, full luxury. I have stayed there for about 6 years now, and I can assure you that when Dubai says luxury, they give luxury. It's not just Burj Khalifa, 1, 2 buildings, you have many of them, and it's all luxury. Coming here, I didn't even know. I was discussing with a few people yesterday night, and I was like, you know, when I go to IKEA in Abu Dhabi, I never think about assembly because it's free. Unlike every other part of the world, we are that spoiled. Everything is luxury. And they have come to this world. That is what they want to show. We are a luxury brand. people say, oh, this is wasteful and all, what were they doing? But think about it. In every branding story, there's always the fruits. And in Dubai, for instance, yes, all this was built by the ingredient, which is oil, but the Dubai economy now is 2020 is projected 40% of the economy is going to be driven by aviation and tourism. 40%. Dubai actually has no oil. Abu Dhabi has oil. So they are striving on all the branding they have put, bringing people into the country, and it's working. So what can we learn from this? It's back to branding 101, the basics. What they did was they gave a sincere value. You go to Dubai and you say, yes, there is luxury. It's there. You see police cars that are Ferraris or Lamborghinis, it's there. You see people going for a lunch in a yacht, it happens. This is what you see the luxury. So how about sustainable energy? Let's think about it. What is the value of sustainable energy? Is there a single value? I have seen some salesmen come into, and some people trying to brand their solar panel as affordable. But in most parts of the world, it's not. It's not the case because you have to project it for about maybe 20, 30 years before it can become affordable. And the amount you have to put in front is not affordable. Okay, how about cool? Yes, we can do something about cool. We can make it look cool, but is everybody acceptable? I was going to embrace that cool nature because, like you said, like in your May survey out there, you see some people even had hate. How many people can we put together? Now, it might look just about numbers. I'm doing good, so I am having a good number, and my branding is working, so I'm fine. But in the case of sustainability, the funny thing is, no matter how good you do, if the person, your competitor, or the other person on the side of the other world is not doing good, it affects you too. Because it is still one earth. We're still protecting one earth. If you save 5 kilograms of CO2 in Iceland today, and in Saudi, they increase their amount of CO2 by 20%, which makes it like 200. At the end of the day, it invalidates what's being done here. So we have to care. And again, this was a very simple principle. They were sincere about values. As we go on, I'm going to show about some not so very good branding strategies in sustainability that we have seen. But before we do that, another thing they did. Branding is a two-way thing. Everyone knows this. It's fundamental. Dubai embraced what they were. In the 80s, in the 60s, they got oil, and everybody saw them as the new rich kids, and they embraced it. So let us try and brand ourselves from there and get something out of it. It's not like they don't think they have nature, but the idea of nature there is sand and camels. But imagine if Dubai tried to propel nature as their brand. How would the other side of the world accept it? Impossible. So they did something really good. They embraced what they knew the other side saw them and moved ahead with it. Very simple concepts. It looked almost like a no-brainer. But how about this? Mazda City. How many people has heard of Mazda City, Abu Dhabi? About 10 people out of, I think, about 100 people out here. Now, how many people have been to the UAE, Abu Dhabi, Dubai? Okay, way more people. Now, Mazda City, I lived there for 4 years, and I know we've done a lot of hard work in trying to be sustainable. The city is meant to be branded as a sustainable city. megawatts of solar panels, all electricity is from solar. Electric vehicles going about, and the attitude there is sustainable. Even the buildings were built in a type of insulation way, so they don't have to do so much cooling inside. But when I ask people, when we go around the world and you talk to people, most people haven't heard about Master. Even people who have come to the UAE, they haven't heard about it. Now, it's not like Master is not doing branding, but they have used the branding in a different way. They have used it more of trying to brand a country. Because if you ask any delegate from a country, a president, a prime minister who has come to the UAE, do you know Master? They do, because that's the first place any of them is taken to. So imagine a country that has about 2.4 million barrels of oil every day being looked at as a brand of sustainability. That's what they're using to do it. Every year they have a World Future Energy Summit, which is like a program where they bring future energy leaders and people, minds to come talk about future energy. We had almost 60,000 people last year, about 150 countries, different countries. The representative of those 60,000, about 150 different countries. It's good numbers, but still, most people are not seeing what we're talking about in terms of being sustainable. They don't get it. They're like, what are you doing there? Not very effective branding, I would say. But they did something really good. They took a very good opportunity. In 2005, the Kyoto Protocol came in, and in 2005, the end of that year, they already started planning. 2008, it broke ground. 2009, people moved in. They took an opportunity. Now, I would say right now, we have 3 different ideas. First, the basics. You have to have a sincere value. You have to, come up and ensure you know that it's a two-way team. The people you're trying to communicate with must be able to understand you. And this is what has been the message has been passed across this whole conference. Then the third thing is to take the opportunity. I just said it when I got here was that I checked Google, and when I said sustainable energy branding, directed me here. There is an opportunity here, which I would like to say is that Master took theirs in 2005, and in 2015, there is a new renewal of the Kyoto Protocol, and I see a trend here. Today, we're here at an energy branding conference, and even Google says we're the one who has a solution. So, this opportunity, we really need to take it and define what we feel is the value of the sustainable energy brand, because there is no unifying thoughts about it. Even from the UN perspective, they had 19 different goals. Different people have different ideas of sustainability. There is no unified one. So, before I go, I would just like to say that it's not just about creating a value to, balance the checks or, make some money or, be looked good in your company. It's more personal than that. It's more about sustaining the future of our children. That's how personal this branding is, because if you do it right and you're better than the next person, the other person on the other side of the world is doing it wrong, it invalidates most of what we're doing. So we need to take it more personally than just business as usual. So ladies and gentlemen, that's all for me, but please let's keep discussing this because I feel it's way more personal than business. Thank you.